Today we are doing the update review of the Reebok Floatride Energy 5. We've now covered over 250 miles, 400k in this shoe, this daily trainer for this year. How's it shaping up? Is it still holding strong or is it getting worse? So yeah, it's the turn of the daily trainer today. We are doing the update review for the Reebok Floatride Energy 5. This was my favourite daily trainer 2 years ago, back in 2022 when I got the Reebok Floatride Energy 3. I was a little bit disappointed with the 5 in the initial runs, not quite as poppy, not quite as energetic as the 3 was. Is it getting better with age, or is it still not as good as it used to be? So I'll tag the previous reviews and I'll put some in the description as well. So I did an initial run in the shoe, I did an initial review after 30 miles, 50k. I did my first update at about the 160 mile mark, the 260k mark. And now we're kind of 140k, 100 miles later, give or take. We've just gone past 250 miles, 400k. So now it's time for another update. And I'll obviously check in with one more just before I retire it. So as always, I'll go through all the major parts of the shoe and I'll refer back to just that previous review now in terms of ups and downs, in terms of scoring. So we'll start with, as always, outsole. So again, pretty solid outsole all through the previous reviews. This has always been a fairly high scoring shoe in terms of the model, the Reebok Floatride. But yeah, outsole, very similar to version 3. Maybe had a bit more of a veneer on the outsole for the initial first runs. It was a bit slippier in wet conditions than I remember the 3 being, but yeah, as the that kind of sheen has gone off the bottom of the outsole, it's a bit more grippy than it was at the start. Yeah, nothing wrong with the outsole, pretty solid. Not loads of rubber, a nice thin veneer, like I said, good lugs, plenty of them, good grip. Wear and tear, there's starting to be a little bit wear now, right down the middle, but again, maybe a little bit on the lateral side, but not massive amounts. It has worn down a little bit quicker than the version 3 did. So I gave it an 8.5 for the outsole on the last review. I'm probably going to stick with that for now, 8.5. Like I said, we're probably halfway through its lifespan, you'd assume. So yeah, it's not too bad. It'll start to wear down. Or again, maybe some of that superficial wear and tear might start to slow down. Now the lugs are getting worn down. So yeah, we'll stick with 8.5 for the outsole after 250 miles. Midsole there was probably the biggest difference between version 3 and version 5. I never picked up version 4. Last year I decided to grab a New Balance 680 instead for my daily trainer. So yeah, the 5 I was comparing back to the 3. It felt a bit of a higher stack in terms of the midsole. And again, that's on the stat sheet. That's not me guessing. That's there for everyone to see. But yeah, it felt a bit more of a firmer foam. I like the 3 was a nice squashy, compressive, again, airy type of foam. The 3 is a bit more firmer, a bit more dense. But again, some of the drawbacks to the 3 was that it was a bit too compressive. My knee started to crash in towards the end when the foam started to kind of give in a little bit. So they've obviously worked on stability. I didn't mention this in the outsole, but again, I mentioned in the previous reviews, they've got this now torsion plate in the middle, this black bit, which stops quite as much twisting going on, especially in the centre of the shoe, which again helps with stability. But yeah, the midsole was a little bit underwhelmed. Obviously I was comparing it back to the 3, which was one of my favourite midsoles of, like I said, a couple of years ago. But yeah, midsole I gave it an 8 on the previous review after 260k, 160 miles. I'm going to just up that slight to 8.5. It has broken in a little bit, so it is a little bit softer, a little bit more poppy. It's a bit more specific in terms of the more you put into it, again, the more you will get out of it. If you run an easy pace and not really putting too much compression into the foam, it is quite a firm, dense foam, not firm, but dense, definitely dense. But the quicker you pick up the pace, if you get down to, say, more tempo-y, threshold-y pace, you do start to get a bit more pop back into it. And like I said, it has kind of broken in a little bit. The more I've used it, it is getting more enjoyable the more I use it. So hopefully that will continue for the next 250 miles, hopefully. But we'll go on to durability in a second. So yeah, 8.5 for the midsole, going up from 8 from the previous review. Upper now, similar to the 3, it's a dual layered engineered mesh. No real issues with breathability, even though, again, I'll do some close-ups, it doesn't look like it's got particularly great breathability, but I've had no real issues. Decent padding on the tongue, more than you'd normally expect in most running shoes, but this is a daily, so probably about right. Again, just about enough on the heel the heel pocket, so not massively plush, but plenty there to make it comfortable. I'd say a semi-rigid heel counter, so kind of middle of the road, not rock hard like the Brooks I've got and the Mizuno, but also not race day in terms of wafer thin. Heel flare makes it comfort even more, and in terms of tongue, it is gusseted on the medial side. Is it Oh, sorry, double gusted on both sides, my bad. There is some netting, but yeah, gusted both sides. But yeah, upper, there's nothing really magical about it, but nothing too bad either. Like I said, no real breathability issues, a comfortable place. Laces are about right. They're not the greatest, but again, they stay tied generally, and the length is about right. But yeah, overall, it's pretty solid, middle of the road-ish, kind of solid upper. No real issues, which is the kind of all you want for your upper, really. You don't want to find any issues with it. So I gave it 8.5 previously. I'm going to stick with that, leave it as 8.5. I said we're decent mileage into this now. And it does everything you want it to do. Basically, it looks quite nice. I've always kind of liked the Floatride uppers. They're not too vivid, but just enough going on to not make it too boring either. But yeah, it's 8.5 for the upper. So last two categories now. So value, and I've petitioned and pioneered this particular range of running shoes for a good few years now, ever since I got the Reebok Floatride 3. And in terms of daily trainers, there's not a lot that can compete with it for value. Yes, there probably are better ones out there. You've got like the Nova Blasters, could technically be classed as a daily trainer. Pegasus is obviously a long-standing daily trainer. New Balance have got a range of ones in terms of 680, 860s, 1080s. So yeah, there's a whole host of daily trainers out there, and everyone's got their own preference in terms of feel and style and branding. But in terms of value, so this is an £85 RRP daily trainer, and again for that price, in terms of the amount of shoe you're getting, yes, there's no plate, yes, it's not dual density, but it's pretty lightweight. Again, the stats are on the previous reviews, go and watch them. But yeah, in terms of value for that, and again, the other thing with Reebok is they always do a sale. So I picked these up again at the end of last year for £45 on a massive sale. I don't know why they go on sale so quickly, but I'm not complaining. It allows you to grab them for half price before they've even been out for long. So yeah, but again, I always go for a piece of £85. There's nothing really, I don't think, out there that can compete unless you're getting yourself like an older version of a better shoe. So if you get like a better quality shoe, maybe plated, like a Saucony Speed or something like that, an older version of that, and you can maybe pick that up for RRP of 85, 90 quid. Maybe that would be a better option. But other than that, picking up, like I say, an older model of a better shoe, I don't think anything in terms of brand new out is going to compete with the value in terms of pricing. So yeah, I gave it an 8.5 for value at the last review, in terms of, again, everything amalgamated together, how it feels, the performance of it, the value of it, the durability expectations. Give it an 8.5. I'm going to up that down to a 9. Again, the durability, I got the last one up to, I think, just over 800k, 500 miles. I think this one's going to get pretty close to that as well, which is all you can really expect from any kind of running shoe. At the minute, some will maybe go a tiny bit longer, but not many. So yeah, I'm going to up it to 9 out of 10 for value for £85. It's a decent shoe. Does a lot of things pretty well and will last and last. Lastly, durability. Again, as always, uppers generally don't go anywhere these days. They're normally pretty well manufactured. It's going to outlast the mileage you're probably going to get into it. The midsole, as I said, is different to the 3. The 3 didn't die. It just deadened a little bit right towards the end after, say, 650k, I'd say 450 miles, give or take. And then on the inside, that's where my foot started to crash in when that foam had died a little bit, and it just wasn't giving the support. That's hopefully been countered by this torsion plate, would stop that kind of twisting rotation motion and you need crashing in. If the foam does give way, it's a slightly bigger stack as well, which again will hopefully protect it from dying quite quick. And again, they made it slightly denser foam, which again hopefully would counteract the foam going so quickly. So yeah, I'm hoping, again, the outsole is worn down a little bit quicker than I recall the 3 doing, especially on this lateral side. I don't know why I don't generally have a wear and tear on this side. Maybe it's just the way my foot lands in this particular shoe. But yeah, the outsole's wearing down a little bit, but again, even if that does wear down, it's all superficial. The grip's still pretty grippy. I can run with even with exposed midsoles here. I'm hoping it's going to get similar distance in terms of durability. So 9 was the previous score, 9 is the current score. I'm going to leave it as that. I think it's going to get close to 500 miles, 800k, maybe just under, maybe just over. Time will tell, and I will do another review when I get close to that figure and give you an update. So time for the total scores. At the previous review, after 160 miles, 260k, I gave it 42.5 out of 50. So that was 85%. So again, it's generally always a pretty decent high scoring shoe. Like I said, there's not a lot wrong with it. It does a lot of things well. You can do speed running. This is what you want from a daily trainer. You don't want it to be pigeonholed and boxed into one specific category. The whole point of a daily trainer is you can do most things pretty well, and this is the kind of shoe that does that. Again, you can do a bit of speed work in it. You can do some kind of like tempo burst. You can do interval work within a run. And again, now they've upped the stack. I mean, it started denser foam. You can definitely get past that kind of 10k, 10 mile mark. That was always the biggest drawback with the 3. I thought it was kind of niche, up to the 10k mark. After that, you started to kind of want more from it in terms of stack and support, really. But yeah, so this has kind of been marketed better in terms of it appeals to more people for more distances. I've seen people run half marathons in this shoe. You could run a marathon in it. Obviously, it wouldn't be your first choice, but again, if it's only the one shoe you've got, there'd be nothing wrong with trying to run a marathon in this shoe. So yeah, 42.5 out of 50, 85% previously. It's gone up now to 43.5 out of 50, so 87%. So it's gone up a little bit, and that's purely through value's gone up a little bit, as I'm confident the durability is going to last similar to the previous. And the midsole actually has got slightly better. The rest are always fairly high scoring. Upper, outsole, like I said, they're pretty good quality. Reebok do pretty good quality shoes. So I will stop rambling on and wrap it up there. This is the 4th of my 5 shoes of this year's rotation. I will get around to doing the Puma Deviate Nitro Elite kind of update after this kind of mileage. Once I get it to that kind of mileage, that is my race day shoe, so obviously it hasn't been used quite as often as the others, but that's all the previous 4 done. If you missed any of the other 4 reviews for the shoes, go and check it all out in my running gear playlist. Again, you can see the previous Reebok reviews. You can also see the reviews for the Brooks Ghost, which is my easy day running shoe, the Mizuno Wave Sky Eyes, which is my long run shoe, and my Takumi Sen 8, which was my speed day shoe for this year. Yeah, go and see them if you've missed any of them out. But yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I will do one final check-in for all those previous shoes and the Reebok itself. Probably now the last one I'll do is when I get closer to retiring, in terms of I'll do one final check-in. It should be hopefully be around the 400 miles, 650k plus mark. Hopefully if I get the shoes to that kind of distance, I'll do, like I say, one check-in when I'm close to retiring them, and when they're starting to kind of fade dramatically, I'll start to do one last check-in just to give you all an update on how they've gone. But yeah, so look out for them. If you haven't already subscribed, feel free to hit the button, completely free, and keeps you up to date with all current and upcoming vlogs. All the best for your running, happy running. I'll see you all on the next one.